Hello everyone and welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm Edward McDougall, that's Joe, and we run the Flashbang Gaming Podcast. Now, as you may have noticed, there wasn't a new episode this week. Some personal stuff happened, and also we're planning to completely revamp our format, aren't we?
We're not completely changing our podcast, but we are going to be changing the format of our podcast.
Indeed. First off, that Low IQ Gamers segment, that's gone. And that gaming review we did as a one-off, that's gone because we thought they both sucked, basically. These first 10 episodes have pretty much been us throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks.
Okay, so when we first started out with the Flashbang Gaming Podcast, we basically just discussed the news. We just said, right, E3 2017 is coming up, let's just talk about news. Then it turned out that first, a gaming podcast that talks about news is first, oversaturated, and two, I just didn't really enjoy it that much. So we started changing it up and we said, right, we're no longer going to do the news, we're going to discuss topics. And that works out fine, but now we feel like, to be honest, it's time to change it up a little bit.
Because the first two episodes that we discussed different topics, they both broke about 60 views in a week. And then the views started to decline, and we've dropped back down to around the 11 to 20 mark of views. Which, for a channel with 24 subscribers, I'm still happy with. But I want us to grow and improve.
Drop rates. Come on, we need you back.
Or what else are we doing? We're changing up how the roundtable works.
So the roundtable, if you don't know already, if you've never listened to a podcast, which I don't know why you're even watching this video in the first place.
Because we're cool, that's why they're watching it. It's because we're cool. Obviously.
The roundtable was probably our most successful segment, if you want to say that, of our podcast, where we just discussed topics. Now, the roundtable is going to change a little bit. The roundtable is staying low IQ gamers, and our weekly game review can just piss off.
Man, our gaming review really did suck. I'm not gonna lie. Listening back, I was like, man, we thought that was so good when we did it, but oof, it's painful. It's painful.
So the roundtable, what's changing? It's no longer going to be a discussion-based segment. It's going to run more like an actual proper full-on debate. A two-sided argument, sort of. It depends.
Indeed.
Like before, when we looked at if you look at the roundtable right now, it's pretty much just me throwing in a question and then just say, oh, I agree with that, yeah, definitely, or no, and then we pretty much settle at that straight away.
There's no real hashing out differences of opinion.
There's no variety of opinion at all, and we thought that the best way for the Flashbang Gaming Podcast to actually improve on that is to change up how we debate it, because this is no longer going to be a gaming news podcast like it originally started. This is going to be a gaming debating podcast. In other words, it's going to be kind of like a talk show, but not in this kind of run in some structured way, if you get what I'm trying to say.
And we want you guys, whoever listen to us, which is probably not many of you right now, looking at our subscriber numbers, but we want to get you guys more involved in our process.
Yeah, so if you've heard of, obviously, there's a lot of radio stations out there that kind of do something like we're trying to do, which is create a debating radio talk style podcast, if that makes any sense. And usually in a lot of radio stations, you call up. Obviously, that's not going to happen at all. You can't call us while we're doing this podcast. But
not yet.
Usually, people ring up the radio station, and they can just give their opinion on any topic that they're talking about. And we felt that would be a very, very good way to make our podcast in some way quite unique from others, because I want you guys that listen to this podcast to have a unique experience to listening to.
We don't want to just be your run-of-the-mill BTEC IGM podcast.
Yeah.
We want to actually do something that has an impact on other people. We want to make people happy, and we want to make people feel like they're part of this thing that we're trying to create.
So, how are you going to be able to get involved? Well, there's a few things...
How are they going to be able to?
There's a few things we're going to need to work out first, but here are the two suggestions right now. As we face, again, more details will be coming very, very soon. You'll be able to either submit a private message to me or Edwards, either through Reddit or some other platform. Again, we'll sort out in the future.
Follow us on Twitter.
Or you can also submit some voicemail to us, and we will play that voicemail out loud on the podcast, and then we will give our own reaction and our own opinion to it.
Any trolly stuff will just be ignored.
Now, you're probably thinking, well, what's the point of sending a private message if I don't even know what we're going to be talking about? Don't worry, we're actually going to be... Before our podcast actually gets recorded, we will be putting what we're going to be debating in our podcast beforehand, so you can know in advance what opinion you have to any topic, and then you can then submit a message or voicemail to us.
And both of us will also, if you follow us on Twitter, anyone, we will tweet out the topics as a reminder.
Yeah. There's two other changes that will be coming. We're going to have new jingles. Our jingles last time, well, in the last 5 episodes,
They've been fun. I enjoy
they've
them.
been cool. I like it, but I think it's time that we start changing up a little bit. Our podcast is no longer going to be discussing the news. We want this podcast to become... I don't know how possible this is going to be, but we are very, very optimistic. It's going to become what we know as gaming's biggest conversation.
That's
where
what
we get the community involved, we get you guys involved, debating anything relating to the gaming industry that's happened recently.
Now, that isn't going to happen overnight.
That's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be a gradual transition, but we hope that with these changes we can make a much more high quality podcast, Chris.
Any support that anyone has given us is greatly appreciated. If you've watched it on YouTube, if you've downloaded an episode on iTunes, if you've listened to an episode on our SoundCloud, we do thank you very much.
We're also going to try...
It does mean a lot.
We're also going to try and get a guest on, I'm hoping, nearly every week, if not every week.
Hopefully pretty soon.
Because
that
I
can be the
think
case.
you guys just listening to us two can get a bit boring at times.
Yes, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll have more guests coming for our roundtable segments. New jingles coming.
Yep.
We're hoping to get you guys involved a lot more with our product and what we produce to go onto this wacky place called the internet. And there's also one more thing that we're going to be hopefully starting even next week or the week after.
Yes, live streaming. So, right now, again, this is not final at all. We're only making this video just to let you know that we are making some changes beforehand.
Which is why there was no new episode this week, because we've been busy lads trying
very, very busy lads. We're going to start live streaming. Now, there's a few things we've got planned for live streaming. Number one, we want to live stream some games that we like to play with some very, very nice, pleasant music in the background to sort of share our experiences and maybe get to know us a little bit more, really.
Just some chill time. We'll be sat there playing the game. We'll be reading the chat.
And also, in the future, again, this is not going to happen straight away, we would like to actually live stream our podcasts. And in that way, the reason why is because with these new changes that we want you guys to get involved in this debate, just like us, it's much easier for you to get involved in that debate if it's happening live rather than trying to get it all pre-recorded beforehand and then putting it out on YouTube and iTunes and etc.
So we would love to start doing the podcast live.
So we're going to live stream our podcast.
We'd have the chat going. We'd be able to see anyone's opinions in the chat if they're listening.
Don't worry, we're not ditching the whole platform we've got right now.
We will re-upload onto iTunes and YouTube and SoundCloud.
After live streaming, we will obviously put it together just like how we normally do with our podcast, and it'll be out at a certain time, whatever, hopefully 6 o'clock on a Saturday. That's our time.
That's what we try to do. Sometimes uploads are a little later if we are busy during the day of when we usually put everything together. But we usually try and aim for 6 p.m. UK time, GMT. And yeah. So hopefully either next week or the week after we will start to have I don't know how many streams we're thinking we're doing a week, but we'll have a stream.
We're gonna start
stream
them out once a week and then see what happens.
A stream once a week, see how many people we get in. Just playing a chill game, like maybe some Euro Truck Simulator 2 multiplayer, or Gigantic, or whatever we feel like playing. Have some chill music in the background, you can come hang, talk to us in the chat, say hi, maybe give us a follow. It'll be fun, it'll be a good time. So, if you actually do care about us, thanks for understanding why there was no new episode this week. If you don't, I hope if you see our episode coming out next week that you'll give it a listen. You can find us at youtube.com/Flashbang Gaming Podcast, soundcloud.com/Flashbang Gaming Podcast, iTunes.com/Flashbang Gaming Podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at EdMcDougall99. Where can they follow you, Joe?
At Joe_LGC.
This has been a Flashbang Gaming update.
You need about to say Flashbang Gaming Podcast.
I was about to do our podcast outro, yeah. Thanks for understanding, sticking with us, and maybe we'll see you live on Twitch next week.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We shall see you there. Goodbye.
Goodbye.